I literally almost cried when he yelled at Neil.
Yeah.
I was like, don't you dare talk to Neil that way.
Dare you. Our sweet angel boy. Welcome to Galaxy Bound Podcast. I'm Brad, this is Ben, and this is Spencer. We are talking about Skeleton Crew episode 7 today. Short episode, but a lot happened. We learned a lot. We're just going to talk about our overall thoughts on the episode and then dive a little bit deeper into different things about it. We've been doing this for every episode of the show so far. We got one more episode to go. But for now, overall thoughts on the episode?
He always comes to me first.
I actually have it. I've made it a point.
He did it once with me.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We can start with you then.
He also introduces me first.
That's true. Yeah, flip it next week. They'll throw you off too much.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, you can go first. That's fine.
You go first.
I liked the episode. I thought as we were watching it, we hadn't seen the lightsaber first. The first scene. So I was like, when is this gonna be coming into play? Because he was in cuffs the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know if he'd have it on him. But then he quickly got out of the cuffs. And then he put on his entire things. And that's cool. I didn't think he would do that. I figured he would just be Jod, not Silvo. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I really liked this episode because of Jod's character now kind of showing his true colors. And I think I talked about last week, we are either going to see him go deeper into his pirate character and go for the gold, or he's going to have that redemption moment of I'm going to side with the kids and figure out a way to I don't know, rescue them or something. But obviously the story part of it kind of wasn't what we predicted, or what I predicted at least. But it was cool to see the lightsaber, see him kill Brutus and take over the ship and get to the planet, and even when they got onto the planet still keep that same dirty old pirate montage.
And he is aggressive too.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of losing it. Or making sure that he doesn't lose it. And he's brutal. Maybe he should have been called Brutus.
Yeah,
that moment of him talking to the kids was kind of heartbreaking. I was
it was kind of hard to watch.
Dang,
this whole time I was so sure that he was just gonna be we've known that he's just kind of a pirate and is always looked out for himself.
An old scallywag.
Yeah, scallywag. Yeah, and I figured he would have a soft spot for the kids, and he might still, because he hasn't done anything terrible against them yet. But when he was he said basically he was talking to Fern, now I know which parent is gonna miss you the most and what I can use for leverage, basically.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, okay, this guy is not messing around.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. This whole time, I just kind of figured it was gonna be predictable, but I wouldn't say that would be a bad thing to have him have a redemption arc and stuff. Yes, we see it all the time in Star Wars, and yes, a lot of people complain about it, but especially in a show about kids and interacting with someone like that, I feel like it probably would have been an okay prediction, But now I have no idea.
And he decapitated SM-33.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
jerk.
Yeah.
He also, at the end of the episode, like, pulled out the lightsaber on the parents and the kids at the same time.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know.
So this is probably going to like the more of the predictions side of this episode, but like, do you think he's gonna like threaten them, or do you think he's gonna be like, I'm a Jedi and I've been helping your kids get here?
Ooh.
Like, just completely try to lie again?
I don't think the kids would.
This air freshener thing.
Oh.
I meant to turn it off.
I made the same face I did earlier. I was like, what?
Yeah. He's like, what was that?
I don't think the kids would. In that moment, it's like 8 versus 1. Obviously, he has a lightsaber, but like, I don't think they would let him lie verbally like that without saying something like, no, he's lying.
But would they believe their kids?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a slight chance that, like, if your kids ran away and then came back with a stranger and he's like, I brought you your kids back,
And pulls out his lightsaber and
like,
is like,
I don't know,
in a threatening mode, like, I saved your kids.
Yeah, I don't like. He didn't pull it out in a threatening way in that shot that we saw.
Mm-mm.
Other than it,
Really?
like, other than it being like a weapon, but like he could just be like, "I'm a Jedi," you know, and like that would like amaze them, be like, "Oh, Master Jedi, I'm so thankful you brought our kids back.
Yeah.
Like, take whatever you want from the vault as a reward or something like that." Like, he has different angles that he could play here. And that's just the first one that I thought of as soon as I saw him ignite that. I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna try to bamboozle them again. That bamboozler.
Bamboozler.
If it wasn't threatening, would you believe your kids saying that he's not who he says he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if all of them were saying it.
Yeah.
True.
But
Because what would be their motivation for lying in that scenario?
They're being threatened.
yeah, I mean,
If you don't behave, I kill all
yeah,
your
he
parents.
said
basically.
like, don't think anything else other than this, like what he wants, you know. And with with igniting the lightsaber to the parents means like, oh, it's a Jedi here to save us or save our kids. But to the kids, it's like, oh, if we don't say what he wants, he's gonna kill our parents and us.
That's true. I forgot about that part.
So I think that's where it's headed, but I don't know.
I don't think so, because there's all these like bots that are guards everywhere down there.
And they just believe that he's like the Republic emissary.
Yeah, but if he goes swinging a lightsaber,
I mean, a Republic emissary could be a Jedi.
okay, but if he goes swinging a lightsaber
Oh,
against 4 people or
Yeah.
8 people standing there right in front of them,
yeah. But the kids probably wouldn't think of that.
no,
I mean, the only kid
I don't think he.
I think Fern might think of that, but the other ones probably wouldn't.
Yeah. This is the interesting part: is how does he get out of this situation of
That's what I was just
ditching
about
the
to say.
kids and the parents and pulling off this heist?
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's there yet. Like, he still has to get his ship there and get all the gold off the planet.
Yeah, he can't talk to his crew at all.
Yeah. And we still don't know who the supervisor is.
Yeah. We heard his voice.
Also, what is the role of an emissary? Like, they just led him to the vault.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we don't know, but what's the definition of emissary?
Isn't it like kind of like a bank owner kind of a thing? Like, they take.
So it just says usually a diplomatic representative. So I would just, like, when they landed, they were saying that it was a a Republic emissary here to offload something. I would assume just the money, or they needed, like, they probably, since it's the mint, they would probably have emissaries come in, get money that's needed, and then leave with however much money that they need, like emergency funds or something like that. So I would assume that's what it was. Obviously,
So
we don't know any more than
there
that.
to take away money.
Yeah.
Sneaky. Okay.
Yeah. What was more interesting is, like, they said that Captain Renard was using the ship from the mint this whole time. And that's why it was, like, masked in that thing, in, like, the shell of the old ship. Because then the inside ship was just one of the mint ships. Genius.
Really genius.
Which means, like, goes back to your theory from last week.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, of him being the supervisor.
Yeah.
Because it is a male voice that we heard.
Yeah, and that just would make a lot of sense. The voice didn't sound very piratey, but that could just be part of his act too.
Yeah.
It also could have just been like a recording.
Yeah.
True.
Like the supervisor.
This is the supervisor.
Yeah, like
an emissary has arrived. They probably hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely used to.
Obviously, they haven't seen that in a while with, like, that whole lawn on top of the vault.
Yeah.
And they were like, what is happening as it, like, being lifted up? They were, like, having picnics and stuff on that lawn.
The details about that whole thing, I think, are the most interesting thing about this episode. Is in the hologram message to the kids from the parents, they talk about, like, when you're an adult or when you graduate, you learn about what the planet is and about what we do and like all of that stuff. So that is interesting, because I wouldn't have guessed that. I thought everybody was under this illusion, or nobody was under the illusion.
There's still layers to the illusion that we talked about last week, where, like, you thought the parents were in on it this whole time.
Yeah, which
and we were saying
sounds like they are.
Yeah, we were saying how we didn't think that, but there's layers to it. Like, you said that, like, maybe, like, there's a certain illusion that stops at Fern's mom, but then there's more to it. I think they know some things, but they might not know everything. Like they know about the, what do they call it? The barrier. They know that exists, and, like, you can't get things out or in without, like, certain clearance and stuff. And maybe they know that it's the mint planet, but maybe they don't know, because there's still a whole mystery related to the other planets, why they were destroyed. And
the question for me is, like, do they know that the other planets have been destroyed?
Exactly.
Or are they still under the impression that they are doing everything for the Republic and that the Republic exists?
Yeah. And is it the old Republic, like capital O, capital R?
Yeah.
Or is it the Galactic Republic that we see, like, in the prequels?
Yeah.
That's the other big question.
Which
I'm leaning towards Old Republic, because I just don't think they would say that, and it makes it way more intriguing. But
how? Okay, from the Old Republic, capital O, capital R.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where it was broken up to be not the Republic? Because they wouldn't have called themselves the Old Republic.
That's a good point.
Like,
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure you're the one that asked it.
probably, but
You asked the same
Yeah,
question.
it was when we were talking about like after Christ, before Christ, like during that time, like they wouldn't have called the time period they were living in before Christ, because they didn't know that Christ
Right.
existed.
Yeah, I don't think that was the same conversation, but yeah,
Oh,
I think we mentioned it, but
it was in a different episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was always just called the Republic when they're in it. But since it lasted for so long, it ended up being broken up into things like kind of like with like the world wars in our real life. Like the World War One was not called World War One when it was happening.
Yeah, even like the World War.
Even both of them, while they were happening, weren't called World War One or Two. It was after they had passed, and you look back on them like, okay, 1 and 2. Before that, it was just called the Great War.
And then the Second World War.
Yeah.
During the Second World War. Yeah. Okay. So they would say the Republic at that time, and then later on, just say that's the Old Republic. This is the Galactic Republic.
Like split up into. I would assume like after the High Republic started is when like in universe they started calling that the Old Republic, and then it was still just the Republic.
Yeah,
probably due to some like restructuring or something. I don't really know. I haven't gotten that far into the High Republic yet. But then after the High Republic ended, it was just restructured into the Galactic Republic.
Right.
Confusing.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna have to throw visuals up on like the screen for people to be like a timeline of like here are the time periods.
Because in the Old Republic,
that's the thing. Sorry, I'll interrupt because you point that out because Lucasfilm has specifically come out and showed a timeline. Like within the last couple years, right? They showed it at Star Wars Celebration not too long ago.
I think 2 years ago, yeah.
And because the Old Republic was always like a Legends thing, like an expanded universe thing. And they specifically came out and said like, no, this actually is part of the official timeline. And it's literally labeled that. Official, maybe? They showed this one. They showed this on screen because it has the new Dawn of the Jedi movie that's being currently made. This is what they showed on screen. So Dawn of the Jedi obviously is like the beginning of when the Jedi Order was created. And then the Old Republic, then the High Republic, and then they split this up into the Fall of the Jedi and Reign of the Empire just because it's clarifying like Fall of the Jedi is prequel era.
Yeah.
Reign of the Empire is like right after, Episode 3, right after Order 66. And then the Age of Rebellion is like when the original trilogy occurs. Yeah. But this era, Fall of the Jedi, is also called the Galactic Republic.
And
that's what they call it in the movies themselves.
And also the High Republic is lumped into the Galactic Republic?
No.
Oh. I thought you said that earlier.
No.
Okay.
No, the High Republic ends like 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Before Episode 1.
Okay.
So like the Acolyte takes place like at the tail end of the High Republic. And you can tell like it has a very unique style, like very like gold and white.
Yeah.
Like the style of the books themselves.
Yeah.
Like very ornate and like pompous.
Kind of like Roman or like Greek looking.
Exactly.
Like Roman, yeah.
Like they think that they're the highest, the best.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately their fall. That kind of thinking.
Yeah. But like they thought that because it was kind of true.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Sure,
and then, after time goes on, they kind of lose their way a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
That is important to note of just like how like the timeline is official, the Old Republic is official. And since that they put that out there, every time they say Old Republic in this show, just like why would you say that? if it didn't mean that era, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're saying it's an unold republic, lowercase. An old republic
Yeah.
thingy.
Yeah, which it could be, because the other part of that is in A New Hope, when Obi-Wan is talking about the Republic that he served as a Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
he does say the Old Republic. Obviously, that was long before like actual Old Republic ever like was thought of, but he uses it like lowercase.
Yeah.
You know, so
Old to him because he's
yeah,
old.
because he's old and it's been years since it existed. So, yeah, it could be taken either way. I just wish that it would be confirmed in this show in some way.
Yeah.
Not that it like absolutely has to, because that's not the like main point of the show.
Yeah.
But
Or they could have just called it something different.
yeah, give it a more unique name.
Yeah.
For that era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have
Okay,
an
so
entire
that
game.
yeah, that's
that.
helpful.
Yeah. So
Yeah. The confusing part to me, I think, with all of that and them either knowing or not knowing or knowing some of it, the generation of people that are living on this planet currently probably have no recollection of life before the barrier.
mm,
But Captain Renaud is the one who put the barrier there, correct?
that's what 33 implies.
Yeah, like that's what I gathered from the way the conversations were going. But at the same time, it wasn't like super clear or obvious. Like they didn't outright state that.
Yeah.
So part of me is also thinking like maybe that was just part of the actual planet being the mint planet to have as like a protection over the planet that's making the money for.
That's what I thought more, because
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
in this episode alone, he said, 33 said that Captain Renaud took the ship because of the barrier.
Yeah.
And used it to get in and out of the planet. Which would imply that the barrier's been there the whole time.
That's true.
For me, at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. I thought he also said something about, I don't know, it was some sentence about Captain Renaud or the captain made sure, I don't know. I thought it was something about like hinting towards he put those.
I kind of took
those
that
things
too,
there.
but maybe it just comes back to him actually being the supervisor, and he was there to help get it up and running.
Yeah. Or like,
and like he just uses the ship as part of that, and he always has from the beginning.
because it's far enough.
Now I'm thinking that
it's far enough away from the planet's surface.
Yeah.
That like that all could have been built without anyone on the planet knowing that was
for
put
sure.
in place.
Yeah. It's the whole system. Because you mentioned, how is there a day and night cycle if
Yeah,
they're
it's like, man,
clouded?
how are they getting
But
sunlight?
I think the whole system of that planet, so the sun and the planet, all the moons and everything.
Yeah, because you could see the
inside.
light coming from like off to the right side of like, and you still have the whole planet in view.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that part makes sense.
Which is crazy, because I figured that all of the planets, as part of that whole, like the jewels of the Old Republic or whatever,
Are in the same
were in the same system, because they all have the same.
You could
similar
see
names.
another planet just like, or maybe it was a moon.
It might have been a moon,
But there was another thing like just in the background there. So I thought, oh, maybe that's like another one of the planets.
but like they were able to get to one of the other planets without the whole thing.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were far
So-
away.
Yeah.
I would assume that was just a moon, probably.
This would also make sense why the other ones were destroyed and this one wasn't. partially because it's the mint planet. But if it was shrouded, they would have been like, doesn't need to be destroyed because no one knows how to get here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So
No one knew how to get there, and then like if they did get there, they would just get destroyed.
Well, did we ever find out who destroyed the other planets and why?
No.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Maybe
Well,
it
that's the
was,
other confusing thing.
maybe it
Like,
was the Republic that destroyed their own planets.
oh, I didn't think
The
that.
Old Republic or
The
You know, it gets even worse with like the further eras, like the New Republic, and then like the New Republic.
yes.
yeah.
The New Republic that overtakes the Old Republic
Which was the New Republic.
and is the New Republic.
But now it's called the High Republic.
Yeah.
And this is the New Republic.
And the New High Republic.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna call it in like Rey's movie, because this era we're in is the New Republic.
They should have just used colors, like the Gold
Blue
Republic, the Blue Republic. Like,
That would have been cool, actually.
yeah.
I mean, all of
The
those,
Black Republic.
except for High Republic, were like created in old legends and expanded universe long ago by not George Lucas.
Yeah.
And they've just kept them out of respect, I think. But some
Yeah.
people might disagree about that, but like why change it with like all those old books already had it established as those eras? But it does make it confusing, not very creative. But then you think about things in like you looking through that looks so funny. Like you have goggles.
It's like the only way I could see. Otherwise, I have to like come out here. I guess I could like
Normally
invert
you
this
have
or
it like
something.
like what how I have it, like more to the side. You can just tighten the thing. Like looking right through the things.
There we go.
I mean, I don't really care as long as you're like talking into the mic. I don't care. It was just really funny. 'Cause before you were like just going to the side, but that time you were like looking straight. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Something about the New Republic.
That's the time frame that we're in right now. The show takes place.
Yeah. Wow, that just completely left my brain. But anyways, we don't have to keep talking about the new high old. Oh, I was saying how it was like
But we're going to.
just as bad as like in real life, like
Oh yeah.
like
yeah.
the names of wars and like different periods of time and
Different civilizations.
different like populations and like stuff like that. It's just as bad.
Or like Virginia and West Virginia,
Yeah.
but
Like-
there's no other.
Yeah, where's East Virginia, South Virginia? Yeah.
Just happens to be west.
Yeah, that's a bit that the Simon guy talks
Yeah.
about all the time, Simon Whistler, because he's British and he loves like just poking fun at the Americans. And he always is like, especially with like New Hampshire, he's like,
Yeah.
so where's Old Hampshire? Because it's definitely not in Europe. I've never seen an Old Hampshire. It's so funny. But yeah. Anyways, we don't know what area exactly that we're dealing with yet.
Yeah.
But
The two paths I think of prediction of maybe where this next episode could answer some questions is if everyone knows about what the planet is doing and the supervisor is actually like a true citizen of this planet and like somebody that I don't know runs the planet ethically.
Yeah.
But they are just literally shrouded with not knowing what's happening outside. That's one.
Like they're just doing what their predecessor was
they've
doing.
been waiting for an emissary to come and get money for years.
Yeah.
yeah, that scene reminded me of like the Camino cloners.
Yeah.
Oh,
with Obi-Wan stopping by.
I've been waiting for
Yeah. Like, and him saying like, "Oh, this really is something." Like, "Oh, we were hoped that you were pleased." It's like exactly the conversation that Obi-Wan has with them.
Yeah. So that's one path.
It's a very similar situation.
The other path is that, and there is kind of like for path B, it's like B1, B2, is the supervisor is Captain Renaud, and he's somehow like taken over the planet and has been living on this loot, and I don't know why he wouldn't leave, but and then option B is that Renaud was killed in his mission to try and get the planet, but his ship got lost on the planet and stayed here.
Yeah, we still don't know the answer of why it was buried.
Mm-hmm.
But like
B,
maybe he was just trying to hide it.
Is the most.
Since he's just wanted to stay there, and he just wanted to hide his ship because he didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Because he didn't need to leave. I don't know.
Or Captain Silvo is Captain Renaud. That's still maybe possible.
There's a very slight possibility with how badly he wanted the ship to be his. But I think that can just go back to him. Like, he needed it to get to the planet.
Mm-hmm. Because that hologram did not look like him in the treasure room.
No.
But
plus, wouldn't you remember how to get to Aten if you had been there before?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Probably.
He could have like
lied the whole time,
or gotten a mind wipe or something.
Oh.
Jedi mind tricked himself.
Or if he had crashed
you
on
will
the
not
planet
remember
prior and hurt himself and was dragged off planet just to come back again on the same.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like he might not be Captain Renaud.
What if he crashed in the ship and then met his wife and then got married and went off planet and had a kid, and then the kid comes back and that's actually Jod. And then that Jod finds his father's brain in a computer, and then
it's so Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That actually sounds pretty cool. For a different story. The other thing I was going to say about the eras, to go back to that conversation, with related to it being destroyed, like the other planets being destroyed, and we don't know if like, maybe the Republic destroyed their own planets, maybe it was the Empire that destroyed them,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it was the Sith Empire
Mm-hmm.
from the Old Republic, which would be so cool. But the main planet that they would want to not destroy is the one that has money on it. So if it was like the Galactic Republic that they are from, so we're talking about the Empire destroying the other planets, wouldn't it make sense because it would have been Palpatine who would have been like the prime person to be able to go to that planet willingly whenever he wanted to. Like, maybe that was how he was able to fund the war. Like, with how much money was on that planet. Like, that was always one of the biggest plot holes I see on Reddit all the time of like, how
did Palpatine do it?
Yeah, like who paid for the clone army? Because that's an insane expense. And how did no one know about it?
Mm-hmm.
But then also, like, the other side, like, how did all of those other, like, companies or planets or whatever
keep it under wraps?
How did they fund the same amount of troops as well?
Yeah.
Because, like, the Trade Federation is a trading company, not a soldier making company. And then all of a sudden they have like droid factories making soldier droids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To fund, or not fund, but like supply a war.
Maybe that's what this show is doing, is answering that big plot hole.
Yeah, like maybe this is
where all that comes from.
This is where Palpatine got it all.
So have you guys seen that meme about Palpatine of I can't remember what the picture of the meme is, but it's explaining like him going up against himself, because he is the one who in the first like 2.5 films is portraying like the Chancellor and like in the Republic, and is like pro this clone army, and probably knows about the clone army even before the Jedi know about the clone army.
Yeah.
But he's also like working behind the scenes with the droids.
Yeah. It's like the Obama meme of him giving himself a medal.
Yes. Yes, that's what it is.
Yes.
No, it's not Obama. I think it's Biden. Or it's
the meme format is Obama.
Yeah.
But it's him giving himself, and it's like the caption is like Palpatine. Like the top part is like Palpatine and his clone army, and then the other one is like Palpatine and his droid army. Like,
yeah, I've seen a bunch.
Oh, it's so good.
I just saw it the other day on Instagram, and I almost sent it to you guys, but like he's destroying like his own troops either direction.
Yeah, it's like
so funny.
What's that Pixar short? Is it Jerry's Game? Where he's playing against himself.
Yes, and it's Palpatine on one side and
Darth
Sidious on
I've seen
the other.
that meme where it's Palpatine on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could probably just type in Palpatine and it'll come up.
Palpatine and Sidious. Palpatine to Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, Clone Wars. Yeah, so good. That basically sums it up.
Yeah. But that's the interesting economic side of it, is like, how do you fund both of those things?
Yeah, because the CIS, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, like it's just planets that wanted to secede from the Republic and like be independent from the Republic. Not necessarily like fight a war.
Yeah.
And they didn't just all of a sudden like have all of these, all of this money for this stuff. And we do find out like Count Dooku had a huge part in like funding it because of his family history. We find that out in the Bad Batch.
Well, you have the Trade Federation makes money off of trading. Probably like stocks.
Loaded.
Yeah. A lot of money. Then you have the banking clan too. It's part of that.
Right.
Which
the banks.
That's money.
Yes.
But that one makes
clan?
more sense than the secret clone army. That's the one
that
is
the
like,
main argument is the clone army. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because like the Kaminoans aren't gonna just do that for free.
For decades.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say for free.
Would this planet at Aten be a secret planet that Palpatine has for himself and not part of the Republic? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
No.
No, you idiot.
No, I was just saying like, since you have to be an emissary to come take money away, like he would be an emissary that could come and get money with no questions asked.
Yeah.
And he would have the authority.
Yeah, because he was a Senate.
Yeah.
Part of the Senate.
Like apparently you can just come and take money.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I feel like it they would have to have the ship that they came in with. So I feel like it's somebody that pseudo works for the planet and is like somebody that's assigned to do that. Not just like
just not just
not
anybody.
like Palpatine being able to show
just
up
a random
like,
senator.
Yeah, but I think he would know who the emissary is for Coruscant
or Naboo.
Yeah, I was thinking Naboo because that's what he was a senator for before.
Yeah.
Which is when the army would have been created.
Yeah.
And paid for.
Yeah.
This could get crazy.
Like if there ends up being some kind of like Naboo connection, like that's it. Like it has to be Palpatine.
Also, if that's the case, if that is the direction they go, that's some like that's some crazy brain work of writing.
Yeah.
And developing like this story to connect dots to stuff like that. I thought this would, not, it hasn't happened yet, but like I would have thought that this would have been more of like an independent
I mean,
film than that, but
even
that's
said
awesome
that
if it does.
Before the premiere is like it's not really connected to anything, but then we find out about all of this stuff. It's like that's pretty connected.
Yeah.
Oh, with like the Old Republic and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual Old Republic.
Not the old New Republic.
If it's capital O, you have to say Old Republic.
Emphasis on the O.
Yeah.
World building, the disguise on the planet was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really look like a storm. It looked like
Are we saying visuals?
a portal.
Then?
Yeah, I guess that kind of goes with it too. Sorry.
Yeah, because it looked great.
Yeah.
The whole
Scary even.
like they said it was like a storm.
Yeah.
But then they could like fly through the storm, and then it was like a giant open area inside of it. It was like kind of like a sphere-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like a hamster ball
Because
of gas.
I thought I thought it was gonna be like that was the planet, and it was just the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
And
too.
that's what the rest of the crew thought, I guess, too. Like, oh, it's just a giant gas planet.
They're like, you fool.
You fool.
They want you to think.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked good. And then the vault of them like going down really, really far down. As they were going down, I was like, this is like a different like pressure change. Like if this was not Star Wars, they would need to be like putting on suits or going a lot slower for their bodies to adjust to that. Because that would have like crushed them doing that too fast.
And they mentioned
Star Wars. I don't care about that.
Yeah, the gravity's different on that planet.
Yeah. They mentioned over 1,000 vaults.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like billions of credits in just that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. I loved that scene where he's just like, he like just touched one, and then they all just come down, and he just loses his mind. Like, just so
rubs
happy.
his face in the.
Yeah, and I was like, it just reminded me of Scrooge McDuck, of him like diving into like, the gold. He's just like almost crying because he's just so happy to see it all. That was great. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild how like some actors can just be that good.
I kind of wish they would have made him look a little bit different in this show, like a little bit more scruffy. Because I think he looks just a little bit too put together.
Yeah,
like I kind of wish he had
looks like Jude Law.
yeah. Like I kind of wish he had like some facial hair. And maybe like
like more
longer hair and
maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe we found out more about his backstory.
He's also used to wearing that helmet.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that he like as soon as he got his helmet back, he like immediately put it back on.
Yeah.
Which is probably like a symbolic thing. Like
he went back to his personality.
Yeah, like he doesn't have to like pretend to be like a human anymore. He can go back to like having that mask on.
He can hide him. He can hide him crying inside the helmet as he yells at the children.
Yeah, but whenever he comes back, he doesn't have the helmet on.
Mm-hmm.
So
I literally almost cried when he yelled at Neil.
Yeah,
I was like, "Don't you dare talk to Neil that way!"
Dare you. Our sweet angel boy.
I thought they were gonna actually show Neil cry instead of Wim. Like I thought Neil was just gonna like stare at him and just cry, but they didn't show that. So
yeah, because then he would just cave immediately. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Neil.
Pets his trunk,
caresses his trunk. Yeah. With world building stuff, I think we kind of covered most of that with the whole era thing.
Yeah,
eras involved.
Talking about
republics,
what the credits could be for and from.
Yeah.
Any other predictions? We kind of covered that too. The short episode. So.
Well, next week is the final finale, right?
Yeah.
That thing better be an hour long. Or I'm
I hope so.
Yeah.
Especially since this one was so
26 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd cry.
Yeah. It was a really weird place to end it, which makes me think it'll be longer next time. But to cut where they did was very strange. Maybe it'll seem better when we see the next episode, but
yeah.
It's definitely going to be one of those shows that's going to be so much better watching like back to back.
Oh yeah.
Binging it because
leads right in to the next episode.
Yeah.
But
Modern
also
television.
like the whole flow has been pretty good
It has been good.
Yeah, there was one episode that was a little slow and dry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on that other planet.
But overall, like it wasn't as slow and dry as some of like the other shows at like their lows. Like the low for this show was like still higher than some of the highs of some other shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't have like weird flashback episodes.
Yeah.
Just was too much for the Acolyte. But
yeah.
For a weekly show.
Mm-hmm.
Weird choice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have like the Mandalorian come in at the very end episode.
That'd be terrible.
The Mandalorian come in?
Yeah. Like I just feel like
the Mandalorian?
Is that a possibility?
Sure.
It's the same era.
But I don't want that because that would
have the same pirate
everything.
Some of the same pirates from the season 3. It's definitely a possibility.
Oh my gosh, that'd be insane.
A little higher than you'd want it to be.
I don't know about that, but
Pedro Pascal, you just like see him walk over.
Without the helmet. What's up, guys?
But I have a feeling that Jod doesn't escape.
Like you think he dies? This is his end.
Either dies or gets cuffed again somehow.
Yeah, I could see that being like, now that he's like shown his true self and like irredeemable, I could see him dying in some like satisfying way. Like maybe the vault like goes on alert and starts like shut down or like explode or something. I don't know.
Well, do you want me to spoil the ending of Treasure Planet for you and tell you what happens there?
That's what I was
Because that's probably what's going to happen here.
Yeah, please.
We could save that for next week when we actually watch the movie. If we're still doing that.
Yeah, I'm done for that.
And make those connections.
Give me
That is what I thought of, not that part until just now, but of the old captain when they see him
in Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah. That's when we were talking about Captain Renaud and like what he actually was. Like, what if they come across his body like that? Because that scene like immediately stuck in my head of him like sitting on his like throne.
It's a cool scene.
Yeah.
So at the end of Treasure Planet, as they're making their way off the exploding planet, Silver is like greedily trying to like get as much gold as he can as he's like making his way out.
Right.
But the rest of them are also trying to get off the planet and escape. And so they end up going, and he falls or something like that, and he goes to like grab his hand to like save him. Well, he's trying to like also like reach just a little bit more to grab like one coin.
It's like the scene in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I've seen Treasure Planet, but it was a long time. But I do remember that scene, actually.
Wait, you said you've never seen it?
I have, but when I was little. So I can't remember the entire story.
Well, I can do a shot for shot for the whole thing. No, but it's okay. So they end up escaping. He's saved. And the very end of the movie is them making their way back to civilization. But Silver doesn't. He's like trying to sneak off the planet off the boat ship on like
ship.
Yeah, the little like escape boat, and disappear before they get back to the port, because once they get to the port he'll probably be arrested because he's a pirate. And so he's like, this world's not for me, I gotta get out of here. And so he ends up letting him go, and he like rides off into the stars on this little like
I think that's what's
boat.
Gonna happen.
I think the kids are going to let him escape with a little bit of the gold just to like have as like just a pocket full or whatever. And the rest of it's going to be like either destroyed or...
I think he needs to do something to redeem himself a little bit though, to earn that, because something happens. Doesn't he like save Jim in some way? So he like redeems himself in that. So I think something similar will happen to Jod. So it makes it so he earns that, because right now those kids aren't going to do anything for him.
No.
Yeah, I think something happens in this next episode, planet-wise, where the veil is removed from the citizens and whoever is controlling that mystery, and all hell breaks loose, and either like the planet has like a self-destruct sequence or something like that.
The citizens riot in the streets.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, but the fact that his name is Captain Silvo, it's just like it has to be like a very similar arc for him.
Yeah, I mean the whole show's been basically like
it's crazy. I haven't
new and improved.
Seen like anybody else make these connections.
Really?
Have you? Oh
yeah.
Not with Treasure Planet, with
Treasure Island,
the original like Treasure Island. Yes.
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody talk about Treasure Planet.
No, but even Treasure Island, like you sent that picture yesterday on Instagram, but like I haven't seen. I mean, I don't watch that many YouTubers, but like the ones that I've watched haven't really made those connections that I've seen.
I've seen a few posts of comparing characters from, I guess it was Treasure Island, not Treasure Planet.
Yeah. Sad.
I know.
But I mean, that movie's based off the book, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
So
like
basically
shot for shot.
Yeah.
Except it's in space.
Yeah. Some of the characters have like slightly different names, and
but all the
like
main
they're
characters,
different like species and stuff, which is kind of cool. But
yeah, like the doctor guy is like a dog alien
man thing,
and the other captain is a cat lady.
Yeah.
And then they end up having kids.
Yeah.
So funny.
Weird. There's that one alien that like he's like a bunch of different like tubes and like farts as like his language. And I think the doctor he like knows a bunch of languages, and so I think it's like I forget what the name of the language is.
Something to do with like flatulence or something.
Yes, yeah.
Like flatulo something.
Yeah. And so he like speaks to him in that language, and it's like
yeah.
like, what?
So goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the other aliens are kind of weird too. But there's that one like spider guy that like tries to mutiny. That one was a cool one. And Mr. Arrow or whatever, the first mate guy, like a giant rock.
Mr. Arrow.
Giant rock alien. Kind of cool. Like the Thing, basically.
Yeah, it's some cool characters.
Yeah.
For pirates, yeah.
All right, well, we want to get into our game. So we're going to play a game of Agree or Disagree. We've played this before. We have a whiteboard. Each of us has a whiteboard that has Agree or Disagree on it. And we will be going through a couple like role-playing scenarios that are kind of pirate themed.
Role playing?
Yeah.
Like in the bedroom?
No. Like D&D.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
I mean, I guess it could be.
Depends on what your lady likes.
So we'll go through a scenario, and then the debate question will be kind of a yes or no, agree or disagree, and then we will debate on our answers. And this is in context of like Skeleton Crew-esque like pirate, Star Wars pirate themed. Did we decide if we're gonna like keep it like Skeleton Crew like with kids and stuff? Did we decide that?
My vote was no.
Yeah, let's just do basic pirates.
Yeah, basic pirates. Okay. So we don't have to keep it PG.
Yeah.
Just gonna go up on the boat and kill them all. All right. First scenario is if your ship is stranded with no chance of immediate rescue, you should split the crew into smaller groups to improve survival chances. So if your crew is stranded on a like deserted planet, should you split up the crew into smaller groups?
Okay.
Or not?
So the agree would be to split up if we vote agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Really?
Yeah, I said disagree because when you split into two or more, usually you have a dividing like side. So then the resources that small group finds isn't going to share with the other group because they didn't find it either. Whereas if you have one big group, the resources is for the group. That kind of thing.
That's a good point.
I guess it kind of depends on the level of trust that everybody has with each other.
Yeah.
If splitting up and everybody's on the same page of like we're all on the same team, like we all have the same goals here. But if splitting up and you've got some mistrust, like
I mean, we're talking about pirates, so
yeah, that's why I said disagree.
Yeah,
you kind of want everybody in the same spot, keep an eye on them, know what they're doing. But I will say, if they're what would change my answer to agree is if there is a common enemy. Like if you're on a deserted planet and there's either like creatures that you're trying to survive against or another like pirate group, splitting up could be more beneficial because you have less chance of losing everybody if one of the two groups gets attacked, or could like attack them from two different sides. Like there are advantages to splitting up, but
yeah. So I said agree because I was thinking of like the first stage of like being stranded and like the exploration stage, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily
Like split up, find water, find.
Yeah, like
okay.
everyone like split up into like teams of 2 or 3 or whatever, and like go find water, go find like whatever food is there if possible, and then like shelter and stuff like that. So that was my thought process. But yeah, like long term, you don't want to stay split up for very long.
Yeah,
because things will go bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Next scenario. You encounter an alien creature that seems harmless but could be a threat. Should you take it aboard your ship? Is it worth the risk, or would you miss out on a potential ally? So agree can be take it on the ship, and disagree would be not to take it on the ship. 3, 2, 1.
Spencer and I are surviving.
Yeah. So I said agree because I think, like it said, like it could be a potential ally. And because it's like Star Wars and like creatures are always like either allies or enemies, and like, you know, even if it's like a dumb creature, like it could be, or not necessarily dumb, but like I thought of like, was it Batcher?
Yep.
From the Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Like the dog creature that Omega befriends. That's immediately what I thought of. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just too trusting of creatures. Because you can usually tell if a creature, rather than like another species necessarily, unless that's what we're calling creatures, which might be a little racist, but I wasn't thinking that.
No, I don't think anyone was.
Like you can usually tell if it's like a good or bad, like if it's a threat or not. Like, is it trying to eat you? Well, then it's probably not going on the ship. And it's probably not even going to get a chance to, you know?
Yeah, I said no because there's way bigger risk than reward for me in that scenario. If we're first time encountering something and don't know anything about the creature, it would be way better to play it safe than bring it into the place that is your one safe space.
Especially in space.
Yeah.
Like if it breaks something on the ship, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Seen too many movies.
Like every single alien movie.
Yep.
Yeah, but in that moment, you would know that it was bad.
Not in what movie is that?
E.T.?
No, they go, is it Prometheus? Where they go to this planet and they find some type of like amoeba looking creature, and they bring it into the lab part of the ship to examine it, and then as they're examining it, it like grabs the guy's hand and like won't let go, and it gets like tighter and tighter.
I mean, that is the premise of a lot of things, I think, but I think it might be, it's one of the Alien movies.
No, it's not one of the Alien movies.
Well, I watched that
Prometheus
last
is
year.
a prequel.
Yeah, that's true.
I probably won't recognize the name through here, though. Life? That's why I wouldn't recognize it.
Yeah. I
think I just recently put that on Plex.
Jake Gyllenhaal on it.
Yeah, I just put that on
Rebecca
Plex.
Ferguson.
Like, within the last couple months.
Yeah, it's good.
No, I was on there last year.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else
But yeah,
that he was in.
he's
in a lot of movies.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but like,
no,
like movies that you wouldn't,
Yeah.
like that didn't go big.
Yeah, his early career, he was in a lot of stuff that was like...
Even recently. Like, not within the last 2 years, but like throughout the like 2015 to like 2020. Like before we started doing Deadpool and like got big with that. again. There was like that period of time where like he was just in a bunch of random movies that didn't do all that well.
Yeah, but they were like,
but they were good.
They were good. They were fine.
Yeah.
And
that's one of them.
You've seen that movie though?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. It's good. It's very similar to like Alien, like doing things that they shouldn't with creatures that they should have just left alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I really liked it, but it's kind of scary.
Oh yeah.
Like, not scary as in rated R, but like scary that like so much unknown from like an alien type of thing makes you uncomfortable.
Okay, next scenario. If a crew member is hoarding supplies but insists it's for the good of the group, you should trust their judgment. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Don't trust anyone.
I
trust creatures before I trust people.
Honestly, it's probably smart.
Yeah. It always is.
I don't know.
There's a level of spectrum with this. Obviously, it depends on the person. Depends on what the supplies are.
Yeah.
But they're pirates.
So like I'm assuming probably either like weapons or food or something. Gold, I don't know. Overall, probably not trusting them.
Yeah, no.
Like,
the only thing I would trust...
You have to ask them to, like, explain themselves.
Are we the captain in this scenario?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm just a crew member.
Yeah.
The only person that I would... Not person. The only thing I would trust someone, like, regulating is, like, medical supplies.
Not food? I feel like food is probably regulated well. Or should be.
If someone's hoarding the food and, like, something else is going on, I feel like.
Also, I keep thinking that all of these scenarios we're stranded on an
I know,
island.
because of the first one.
Yeah, but that's not the scenario.
No, because then it would be even worse.
Yes, that's what I was like originally thinking. Like, okay, if we're stranded and somebody's hoarding like food,
but even if you're like
weapons,
a pirate on a ship, like you're still kind of in that same mindset.
Yeah,
like sure. You're not just gonna have a ton of food, and you're a pirate, so you can only go to certain places to get food without like probably being arrested or something like that.
Gruel. We ate gruel.
The Dementors. Yeah, so I definitely wouldn't trust them. Like, they just need to explain why. And if they can't tell you why they're doing something, then yeah, it's going to be sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, just trust me. It's for the good of the group.
Great answer.
Why? Yeah. Shoot him in the head.
You said we're not holding back.
Just because they're hoarding food. Yeah, sketchy. Okay, next scenario. The crew stumbles upon an Imperial supply cache. You should take what you need, even if it risks drawing their attention. So do you agree to take what you need, or disagree if it's too big of a risk? 3, 2, 1.
We have not agreed on a single thing yet.
I agree. We all agreed last time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you're saying that you would take the cash?
Yeah, we're pirates. This is literally what we do.
Yeah, but the Empire is not easy.
I guess it depends on...
Think about Outlaws.
Yeah, I was going to say, think about that game. Like,
those got crazy in moments.
Yeah. Trying to steal from the Empire did not end well.
Yeah.
And it just never ends.
Oh, they keep
coming.
Ships keep landing and more troops keep coming.
And then Death Troopers end up coming.
Yeah.
I never did get bold enough to encounter that more than once.
Oh,
the first time I died immediately. I was like,
it ends up kind of being easy.
I'm not doing that again.
I played it on story mode, so...
Same.
Oh, I don't think I ever had Death Troopers come then.
I only
you have to get
once.
above like the max
alert.
Alert rating, which is 5, I think.
I
And
think
then
I ever got
yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
the,
say like death troopers inbound.
Yeah.
And they like
And I
hunt
only
you
did it
down.
once, and I got sniped.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. But the way you can like make them go away, I mean, you can kill them pretty easily after you like have upgraded yourself a lot. But you can just go to their tent and then like shut down the alert from there.
Yeah.
So
Where
I
were
did
their
it.
tents?
I did it like 3 or 4 times. That's where they're at. They're based in.
Oh.
Like they have an officer there
Gotcha.
that's like telling them where to go.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the base and like what the supplies are, and like you obviously have to like weigh the chances, but I am probably leaning towards yes most of the time.
Yeah. Same.
It would be hilarious to watch. Oh, they should have made Outlaws like multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
It would be like Wildlands.
Yeah.
Like me and you and Drew getting into like the worst case scenarios like that. But in Star Wars would be so fun.
Gotta have like an Overwatch, and then have like an infiltrator, and then somebody that's running the tech side that's shutting down.
You would have had fun
alarms.
playing with us on Ghost Recon.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
So
that
you
would
would
have been
you
fun.
would say hard pass every time.
No,
Like
I mean,
it's never worth provoking the Empire.
No,
But more times, no. Than
but
yes.
more times, yeah. Like if you are confident that it would be successful, then yeah. Like if it only has 2 stormtroopers outside,
Wow.
and like you have like a crew of 5 people, like yeah, like take out those 2 guys and take it. But I'm thinking of like
the Empire wouldn't even know who did that scenario.
I was thinking of like one of the bigger bases in Outlaws, like
Yeah.
trying to infiltrate that, get whatever you need, and then get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's harder.
that. Yeah, because if you screw up, like the Empire's coming after you, and you don't want that. That's why you don't see pirates going up against the Empire very often in Star Wars.
True.
But they're probably already on like a hit list. So how can that can't get worse? I mean, it can definitely get worse.
Get thrown in jail.
There are probably better.
Vader's ship just shows up. That
Yeah,
would be worse.
exactly.
I would pee my pants.
There are probably better scores to get than Empire, you know? Because the Empire would mostly just have like weapons and stuff, probably.
It's a pretty good score.
Yeah, but like thinking of like going back to what we said about the CIS, like the banking clan or the Trade Federation, like
Yeah.
Money.
yeah, you
Yeah,
want to go
those
for
are
money and
the
supplies.
places where pirates are sniffing around more.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's
or
why
like-
the pirates are always in the Outer Rim too.
Like wealthy casinos or
Yeah.
Yeah.
just those kind of planets.
Okay. Last scenario, unless we want to think of more. If a crew member if a crew member is injured and slowing the group down, you should leave them behind to save the rest. Gotta think like a pirate.
Is it though?
I mean,
Yeah, you do have to. That's the caveat here is like think like a pirate, not like
not like how you would think.
your best friends.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. I almost said agree because of what I just said. I think
Yeah.
like a pirate, but I don't know.
It kind of depends on the scenario and
The
like
person.
who it is. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if it's
If it's the captain, like
the captain.
unless you hate the captain and you are wanting to mutiny anyways, it's like
Or he's telling you to leave him behind or something.
yeah.
Like there's those scenarios where they're like, I'm just slowing you down. Like I'll buy you an extra 10 minutes if you leave me, and I'll
Which
give you a distraction or something.
isn't a very piratey thing to say, but
Yeah, true.
like save me or you're dead. Like
Yeah,
or
that's
what?
why I'm thinking.
You're
like,
dead.
I'm thinking of this through the lens of a pirate. Like they usually have little excuses for backstabbing each other. Did I say that right? They don't need a good excuse to backstab one another. So if one of them is injured, they're probably just leaving them behind.
For sure.
Yeah. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of drawn in the middle.
Yeah,
I said disagree, but
yeah.
I think it would depend on the person too.
Yeah.
A lot.
Because, yeah, like a group of pirates, you could have people you like and people you really hate.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people in between that you wouldn't even care. So it could go either way.
And, like, if it's someone who's kind of crucial to your team, but is just slow.
Yeah, like that's the heavy. He's got, like, the big guns. Like, we need that guy.
Yeah.
Or the explosives guy.
Yeah, I think about it in like a zombie apocalypse. Like, I don't need a very big excuse to leave somebody behind. Like,
this is why he doesn't play games with us.
Like, because I just run away from everybody else and like, you're too slow. You're slowing me down. Yeah. No, I mean, if you've got like a core crew in like a zombie apocalypse, obviously, like you need everybody to help survive with each other. But
yeah,
if somebody gets bit, we're leaving you behind.
Well, yeah.
Instantly shot.
Yeah. But if they haven't been bit, but they're just behind, leaving them behind makes it worse because they just become a zombie. So you have more of an incentive to go rescue them because they're way more valuable alive than dead or undead.
Yeah. So you make sure they're dead, and then leave them behind.
Oh, okay.
Like this sounds really bad, and my wife doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can say this on here. She'll never.
Oh no.
But I like you have those dreams sometimes of like being in a zombie apocalypse, and like there's no way that I would, in that scenario, probably leave my wife alive, because the decision making and survival would be horrendous.
So you would kill her so she didn't become a zombie?
Yeah.
So charming.
I mean,
and it would probably be that same way with like children too. Like
like
if
after they were already bit?
No.
Before?
But they're slowing you down to where they are probably going to die by zombies anyways.
Yeah. And risk me also.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm going to have to work twice as hard to like protect them and myself and put myself in more risky situations when I could move quicker, quieter, like either by myself or with another group of like trusted adults that are also doing the same thing rather than like a child. I know it sounds really bad, but like,
I mean, I kind of agree.
So you'd kill your family so you would survive.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a hot take. Because from my perspective, it'll be like, what is the point of living myself if I don't have my family?
I mean, yes, there's that.
Okay. I guess this depends on like the level of the state of the rest of the world in this scenario. Like if it's early on in this zombie apocalypse, I probably wouldn't kill them. But if it's in like the later stages where we are like the 1% left, what is a life right now anyway?
These are the questions.
But isn't that the whole point of trying to survive yourself? Is to keep humanity going. Because if you're the only one left, for example, obviously it's like 1%, like there's still more people, but like you,
yeah, that's a good point.
You better be damn sure that there's no other option in that scenario.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said it's the level of like where in the storyline of this all happening is. Like, am I trying to get somewhere that's safer? And I know that there's a place that's safer with like medical supplies and potentially like a life again, or is it like where you're literally just like trying to survive as long as you can? There's no end game. Then at that point, like, I guess, why are you just running around?
Yeah.
Good thing that will never happen.
Yeah, it's all hypothetical.
That's what they all say. You are listening to Galaxy Bound Podcast. We do monthly episodes talking about all things Star Wars. This episode was part of a reaction series discussing each episode of Skeleton Crew after it aired. If you missed an episode, feel free to go back and watch or listen, and stay tuned for the next episodes. We'd greatly appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe or follow us on whatever platform you are watching or listening from. It helps us grow and reach more people. You can follow us on social media on basically every platform out there at Galaxy Bound TV, or check out our website at galaxybound.tv for links to them all. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Planet that Palpatine has for himself and not part of the Republic? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
No.
No, you idiot.